Are you tired of blasting one-way campaigns at your customers? What if your customers' journeys were automated and optimized in real time, saving your team critical manual effort and improving your customers' experiences? Welcome to One Amazing Thing About Zigment, an agentic customer journey platform. Today we're talking with Dikshant Dave, CEO at Zigment, and he's going to be sharing one amazing thing about their platform with us today. Dikshant, welcome to the show.
Hey Greg, thanks. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing this in action. But before we do, why don't you give a little background on you and your role at Zigment?
Yeah. So I'm, Dikshant, CEO and founder of Zigment. We are an agentic customer journey platform. We have been kind of building this platform for over 2 years now, and we were born after in the ChatGPT era. So we could kind of rethink everything, and kind of everything that we do kind of has the ground up layer of AI. So that there we are.
Love it. Yeah. So let's we're gonna take a look at one feature of the platform today. Can you talk a little bit about what you're going to show off and who's the audience for this and why is it important to them?
Sure. So the feature or the concept that I'm going to share and want to talk about is called conversation graph. Uh, as we are moving from the clickstream era into kind of conversational era. Now, practically every business, every front end that you see is starting to move to conversational interface. So everything that businesses like user and business communication is moving on to conversations more and more, which used to be clicks and page views and some kind of events, hard events earlier. That brings a lot of challenges, in the sense that you have a lot of information and data hiding, conversations. So unless the systems and the businesses make use of that information that's hiding inside these conversations, you are losing a ton of stuff, ton of information about businesses, your users in general. So we call this conversation graph, and that's what I would like to talk about today.
Wonderful. Well, let's take a look. Why don't you share your screen?
Yeah. All right. So here, this is a timeline, and what I was explaining earlier was as we as we go into the conversational era, there is in the customer's life cycle, lifetime of engaging with a certain business or any business, there is a lot of things that are going to happen, right? So today we have CRMs and CDPs which store, your users or customers are clicking on which links, which page views are they kind of doing, what are the products they're adding to their, their carts. But that's about it. We do not have information about like, okay, what's the conversation? What's the kind of a comment that a user left on your, on your Instagram page, for example, or what is the message or a request that a user asked on your web chat window. And it's very important to see all this information along with your clickstream data. So your clickstream information is not going anywhere. You still need that as a business, but you now need to have like a more consolidated view of everything that a customer is doing in the customer's journey. And we call this a conversation graph. It's a kind of a proprietary, tech that we have built on Zigment platform. And here, if you see, there's a user whose basic information we have here, he starts his journey. I'm just going to scroll down, which is the starting point of the journey. Sorry. Yeah. So if you see here, it is the user is starting from, on a certain time where, the status is changed to qualified, kind of moves up. Now, every node that you see on this timeline is an event. Now, event in customer's, journey. Here, because user was kind of sending messages on a web chat window, this is happening here on the web chat, and we can see that, okay, what is the information? What are the kind of status? There was a sentiment change. Sentiment was neutral. So every signal, everything that we kind of have around this particular event is stored and recorded. Now, this kind of continues for the entire journey as user is kind of engaging, or whether he's sending messages sending emails, or so your one example is that, like, while the communication was on the web chat, if you see this particular screen, this particular part, the email is sent, and that's also recorded as a part of the timeline or the conversation graph. Now this continues, this entire view, just goes on. And why we think, like, why do we need this is the primary question. That, okay, like, good that we are storing, but what's the use? The need for this is that in the previous era, or when we have a click streams, you can today create like a workflows that, okay, when if users have added something onto their shopping cart, send an email out, or send an SMS or something like that. But what about the softer signals, right? So softer signals being like, in the conversation, you detect that user is asking that, can this be sent before 4th of July? Like, can this product be delivered before 4th of July? Now that's a signal of urgency. Now, as a business, you do not want to miss that, right? So these softer signals, there is no way today that you can kind of record, forget about querying and doing actions. But now with this conversation graph, we have all these signals on kind of, stored in a structured way, where we can now figure out that, okay, moment this, the signal changes to urgency, like, we want to send them a coupon code. It's not based on a certain page view or kind of add to cart, but it just could be on a conversation. Having these things where we have this information, where things are recorded here, we want to kind of create or start a conversation, or start like workflows that could be kind of could be sending emails, could be sending WhatsApp. But the first point is that we need all this information from various touch points that customer is. It's the same customer, right? So whether he's coming on Instagram or your web chat or replying to an email, it's the same customer. So first of all, we bring all of this kind of information or engagement onto a single kind of queryable data structure. And then we build out, so Zigment platform, we kind of build out workflows kind of emanating from there. And this particular thing has not kind of evolved after kind of just working with businesses. And we were fortunate that we could kind of just rethink entirely how this data is kind of can be stored today. So before ChatGPT, there were some rigid data structures that we kind of thought about, like, this is your data is. But for us, because we started post GPT, we have just recreated or rethought about the entire data structure.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
this is
love it. Yeah. So, and I mean, to me, this is really just also reflective of, as you said, customers they're omni-channel. So, they're going to use whatever platform they happen to either want to use or they happen to be in front of at the moment. Right. So this is reflective of that versus the rigid, marketing automation / journey orchestration platforms that were really more about kind of companies dictating what customers should do versus what customers actually do and how they want to interact, right?
Precisely. Yeah, precisely. I mean, and I guess, like, you said it, like, spot on, that you want to kind of build your processes and your approach based on what customer is comfortable with, not what you are comfortable with.
Yeah, love it. Well, this is great to see. Well, Dikshant, thanks so much for joining. For those that want to learn a little bit more and want to see more, what should they do?
Yeah, I mean, reach out to me, or, like, get our website is www.zigment .ai. That is zigment.ai. And they can reach me at dikshant@zigment.
Wonderful. Well, again, I'd like to thank Dikshant Dave, CEO at Zigment, for joining the show. You can learn more about Dikshant and Zigment by following the links in the show notes.